The topic I will be discussing today is human trafficking. Human trafficking can be defined as the recruitment, transportation, and harboring of a person and individuals to exploit them, usually in terms of sex work, so prostitution, escort services, and being sold off. Victims are usually women, children, and young women that are at risk and are very vulnerable. They are used as profit for the people who are taking them. These individuals who are the ones taking the victims have a handful of tactics to keep the women quiet and under their control, such as keeping their passports so the women are unable to leave the country or go back home, as well as threatening to harm their family and friends. Passports of the individuals are usually taken away and held as leverage, which is a huge one because without your passport, you can't go anywheres and you don't have your form of ID for any type of situation that you get put in or needing to leave, anything like that. So not having their passports is a huge thing when they are taken, one of the first things that get taken away. A direct quote from Public Safety Canada website is, on September 4th, 2019, the Government of Canada announced the fact that they have invested $57.22 million in the past 5 years to help take down and fight human trafficking. These resources would be the police, any type of housing or therapies or trauma therapies, anything like that would help the victims and the survivors of human trafficking. This incentive is also to help empower and protect the victims of human trafficking and hopefully just prevent it all around, as well as prosecute the individuals who are responsible for the crimes. It is a very hard crime to prosecute due to the fact that victims do not want to come forward and witnesses are not coming forward either. It's also not talked about often. It's not showcased in the news very often. It's a very hard subject to talk about, and when it is talked about, it's a whisper here and there. It's not something that's an in-depth conversation or an educated conversation that people are having about. As I previously stated, the majority of the victims of this crime are vulnerable young women, also including Indigenous women and girls, new immigrants, people living with disabilities, and at-risk youth, and people that are living already on the streets, so at-risk people. These groups of people are targeted due to a lack of access and awareness of their rights, as well as Canada has a 4-pillar approach to human trafficking, which is prevent human trafficking from occurring, protect the victims of human trafficking, bring its perpetrators to justice, as well as build partnerships domestically as well as internationally. This is one of the many strategies that the government is trying out. They are also wanting to give the victims their power back, which is a big one. They want them to be able to regain their control and sense of independence that they have had taken away from them. Along with wanting to make human traffic a more public and they also want to bring awareness to the issue and bring education towards it and have people talk about it because it is a global issue that is still occurring that is not talked about. Throughout Canada, human trafficking will often take place in large urban centers as well as small cities and communities, so pretty much everywhere. Trafficking can happen anytime to anybody, anywheres. Specifically in Canada, human trafficking is an offense under the Criminal Code of Canada as well as the Refugee Protection Act. Also, in terms of exploitation of someone in the workforce, which is another form of human trafficking, it's used to force people to do hard condition jobs. There have been an increase in human trafficking for forced labor. Investigations of these cases have come to light across the country, with charges being laid in Alberta, Ontario, and British Columbia. Both male and female individuals from the Philippines, India, Poland, China, as well as many other places are targets of these crimes. I personally believe as a society we need to bring more awareness to human trafficking. It needs to have a conversation about it. We need to and it needs to be an educated conversation. People need to be aware of what's going on and help prevent it and to see the signs of it. There is a hotline number that can be called and it's in use every day, 24/7. You can call anytime. The hotline connects victims and survivors of human trafficking to 911, emergency shelters, housing, and a wide range of other trauma-informed services. The hotline number is 1-833-900-1010. Again, this number is open 24/7 every day of the year, and you can call at any time.